The September 15th Awards Committee meeting to order. We have a physical quorum represented by Ricky Erickson, Haivu, and myself. We also have Joe Orfano and Mark Stoltz representing Laura Shepis that are joining us online. The Office of General Counsel is represented by Rebecca Levy. Budget is represented by Stephanie Neely. Before we begin reviewing today's agenda, I'll note that there isn't anyone physically present for public comment. Victoria, did you receive any public comment via email?
No.
Thank you. Let the record show we did not receive any public comment. I'll pause for a moment to allow callers joining us online to unmute and speak up. Hearing no comments, we'll proceed with today's regular agenda. We have items 1 through 8 that have been reviewed by Procurement and Budget. These items are now ready to be reviewed by the Awards Committee, beginning with item 1, representing the minutes from the September 8th, 2022 Awards Committee meeting. Are there any comments or corrections to be discussed? Okay, hearing none, may I get a motion to approve award item 1?
Orfano, so moved.
Second. We have a motion from Joe Orfano, a second from Ricky Erickson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Minutes are approved as presented. I'll pass it over to Jenny McCollum, our Chief Procurement Officer, to present each of the remaining items before I ask for a motion, beginning with item 2.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 2 is a proposal. This is for our medical ASO pharmacy benefit management services, stop loss, and chronic condition management services. And this covers employees and the retirees of JEA. Recommended awardee is Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Florida. And the award amount is $31,974,077. This is for a 1-year award with 4 1-year optional renewals. So we come back to you guys every year for these awards. We received only one proposal. This was our incumbent. And we utilized the expertise of Gallagher Benefit Services and Gallagher Pharmacy Consulting to administer and evaluate the RFP in compliance with our purchasing requirements. While there clearly was a preference to have more respondents, we were satisfied with the medical network, discount, stop loss coverage, and administration provided by Blue Cross Blue Shield. And so they remain very, very competitive in this market. So we move forward to evaluate, like I said, Gallagher, the actuarial consultant reviewed the proposal and conducted an analysis of the provider discounts. And so their recommendation was to move forward with approval from the Director of Employee Services and her group as well. So this RFP also had a carve out for the pharmacy benefits, an option to include those. We had 3 proposals, which are listed, one being Blue Cross with Blue Shield. There were 3 that were received. Gallagher's pharmacy consultant also reviewed those independently, and Blue Cross Blue Shield was the highest evaluated. And then lastly, the incumbent provided a hold rate for the administration to the ASO of the health plan at $45.36 per employee per month for the initial plan year, and they guaranteed that rate for 3 years. And then the fee will increase to $46.75 in months, and the plan years 4 and 5. So the majority of that award amount is really not what we're paying Blue Cross Blue Shield. Those are, this is like a self-funded medical claim pass-through. So I'm going to pause there, see if there's any questions, comments.
Is this?
All right, seeing the, oh, go ahead.
Just a quick question, Jenny. So the 30 million is for basically 5-year contract, and it's basically 6 million a year. Is that kind of the deal on this one?
No, this actually is a 1 year, and I believe Gallagher's on here and they can dig in.
I am.
Yeah, and do you want to
Yes.
kind of explain? Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Good morning, everyone. Yes, for that 31 million, that is an annual, but please note that 3 million of that 31 million are fixed fees, and that is a 1 year fixed fee. The remaining dollar amounts are projected claims. So for all of your members, that's where the claim dollars come in. So those get run through the health plan as claim dollars. So that 31 million that your health plan runs approximately 30, 31, 32 million each year, depending on the claims that are utilized by your members. The
Does
3
that help, Ricky?
million is the fixed.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 2?
I will so moved.
And a second?
Mark Stoltz seconds.
We have a motion from Hai Vu, a second from Mark Stoltz. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it back to Jenny to present award item 3.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 3 is a request for proposal. This is for JEA customer bill print, presentment, and electronic payments. So in the past, we have had 2 separate vendors handling these services. So this request is to combine those services under one vendor. And then we also added a new scope for the mobile application development. Kubra Data Transfer Ltd. is our recommended awardee in the amount of $32,430,837.23. This is a 5-year award, Ricky, with a 1-year renewal. We had 6 responses, and we evaluated them on price, past performance, company experience, design approach, work plan, et cetera. We disqualified 1 of the 6 due to failure of not providing qualifying references. Kubra's response was also approved and reviewed by the JEA Information Security and JEA SIP compliance groups. And then also there were 2 e-payment options for credit card convenience fees that were contemplated for this contract. So one, JEA paid credit card check convenience fees was an option, and then the second was the customer paid credit card check fees. At the time of the solicitation, JEA included both options in its pricing evaluation, and then as we decided which route to choose, we later decided to proceed with JEA paying those convenience fees for our customers and negotiate improved rates, and that happened in September, beginning of September. So that's why you're just now seeing this award. We wanted to work through some of those things, and it was a decision that needed to be made for us to move forward with this contract. I'll note that the e-payment 5-year convenience fee quantity estimates for all 3 customer types have increased between 13 and 31% since the time of bidding, which was done about a year ago. And that was due to just increased usage over the last 12 months, and then expected increased usage as JEA assumes those fees, which is new for the customers and a benefit to the customers. Also note that the bill print services estimated has decreased from the time that we put this bid out. And there was at least a 1-year delay of implementation and the availability of JEA technology. So a lot has kind of happened and transformed, over the last year. We did check with the, vendor to make sure, everything was still consistent with the proposal that was received. Went through, kind of a final vetting process with them at the beginning of this month, and are asking to move forward, recommending the award to pull these 2 services together. Any questions, comments? The business is also on if you guys want to add anything that I might have forgotten.
Hey, Victoria, can you scroll back up? I had a question about the language. I want to make sure I understand.
Tell me when to stop.
Yeah, keep going. Towards the beginning, right here, right there. Oh, sorry, back down a little bit, just the bottom of that paragraph. When we said we decided to proceed with JEA pay convenience fees and negotiated improved rates through September 7th, 2022, is that, is that meant to be through September 30th of 2027, or does it mean on September 7th of 2022 we negotiated the rate?
Yeah, I can jump in there. Hi, this is Nathan. Good question. So that day is really just reflecting when the negotiation stops. We had a lot of back and forth with Cupra for months of negotiation on these rates. We were just noting that date of the end of the negotiation when we reached a satisfactory point with them. It's not an expiration date or anything. It's just noting that the negotiation took that long, and it's part of why this award has been delayed in coming to a committee because we were working through that. So that's why that's there.
So
We could change that word to.
Yeah, we were just a little bit, say, which ended on, September 7th or something like that. So, because I understand my misunderstanding, I didn't know what that meant. Is it the terms or the negotiation dates?
Maybe just say something like finalized as of.
Yeah, we can clarify that. So it's more clear.
Thank you, Mr. Communication, Mr. Schultz.
Words are my life. Words are my life. What can I tell you?
Mark, I'm going to have Mark start reviewing all of our awards.
No.
Yes.
Congratulations, Mark.
Any other questions, comments?
Jenny, it's Joe. I was just curious for Chris or Dan, at Bill to Pay, a former provider scored very poorly here. Is that a reflection of the other firms being much better? Or I'm just curious about that.
Hi, Joe. This is Dan. Thank you very much. No, Bill to Pay, we invited each of these respondents to present their cases, via WebEx. And Bill to Pay just did not present as well. They wanted to spend more time talking about a kiosk feature, which we had already kind of worked through. And no, Bill to Pay is very solid, but they were not as solid on the billing side either. When we went through that. So all things considered, Kubra put the best foot forward from a payments and billing perspective forward, but Bill to Pay in terms of payments is very solid.
Thanks, Dan. And then are you guys satisfied with Kubra based on your prior experience with them?
Yes, they've we had some challenges over the period of the last contract to where they'd have some server issues and that sort of thing, but they've worked through that. We've not had major issues with Kubra in well over a year, and the things that they've told us that they're going to implement, they have implemented, and we're very pleased.
That's great. Dan, I appreciate the feedback. I know you had some issues, particularly during the first 12 months of that contract. I know it was a hassle for you guys, so I'm glad to hear things are on good footing.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions? Any others for the team? All right, I'll give it back to the chair for a vote. Thanks.
Thank you, Jenny. Good dialogue. Motion to approve Award 3 with amendment.
Mark
Stoltz.
I'll go with Joe for the motion and Mark Stoltz for a second.
Sounds good.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, motion is adopted. I'll pass it back to Jenny to present award item 4.
Thank you. Through the chair. Number 4 is a joint project. This is a request to advance funds to the Florida Department of Transportation in accordance with our master agreement with them. And this is for the maintenance of traffic and roadway construction costs associated with State Road 115 to Sutel Drive to Nassau County line. This includes force mains and water mains under the project. The recommended awardee is, of course, the Florida Department of Transportation. And the projected amount for the work is $328,815.07. So this will be completed, estimated around April of 2026. And, you know, our force main, water mains, they're within the footprint and the right of way for the roadway resurfacing project. So this project will install and place out of service portions of the existing force main and water main within the project limits. So there's some benefit here in coordinating with FDOT. The roadway restoration costs will be minimized, so that is a benefit. We also will be they'll put our construction work in their bid, and we'll be using their FDOT contractor to do all of the work as a whole. So we prepay FDOT at this time for the estimated cost. After the bidding is over, if the pricing comes below our estimate, we'll request a refund of the difference, and if the bidding is higher than estimated, then we'll come back to the committee and you'll see a request to increase and a change order to pay the difference. And you'll see one more of these later on in this packet at the very end, so I won't re-explain all of that, but they're identical, just 2 different projects. Any questions, comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you. May I get a motion to approve award item 4?
Haibu, so moved.
And a second?
Ricky, second.
We have a motion from Haibu, a second from Ricky Erickson. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it back over to Jenny to present award item 5.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 5 is a single source, and this is for our material planning support. The single source contract is to Blue Borough / procurability. They partnered on a previous project with procurement back in August of 2020. And so the scope of work was identified back then to assist with the development implementation of a comprehensive process improvement plan to review the current JEA procurement and standards committee processes, the Florida statutes, evaluate and benchmark against other municipalities and their processes, and develop a report with recommendations for JEA and the findings. We bid that out. They competitively won that. And this work, we feel, would benefit a single source to them just due to their ability to hit the ground running, critical knowledge of JEA procurement process, how it works, and their tribal knowledge of just the organization allows them to step in without delays. And this is critical due to kind of the immediate need driven by the supply chain disruptions to get an assessment done in a timely manner. So their work would be in 2 phases. We would have them come in and do kind of like a gap analysis, followed by a period to drive improvements in a steady state operation to deliver and support JEA for the short term. So they will create this kind of report for us with the analysis, and then we will actually have them come in for phase 2 and actually help JEA be, you know, almost an augmentation of the staff. So they'll come in to support us, help us with those process improvements, and actually, you know, help perform some of the work that they're, you know, suggesting that needs to move forward. So we've got kind of those 2 phases broken up from a pricing perspective. gap analysis about 137,000, and then phase 2, we believe will take anywhere from 2 to 5 months at a cost of about 568,000, which is a total not to exceed. So if we bring in support and we don't feel like we need them anymore, we can take them off the books, and that, they will not charge us for the work that is not being done. So the recommended amount is 705,000 with those 2 phases combined. Any questions, comments? I think you guys have seen us talk about the supply chain gaps, issues that we've been having over the last 18 months. The way that we do business today is not sustainable for the way that the market is playing out. So we hope to bring them in, figure out where the gaps are, figure out some new process improvements, and a new procedure to how we handle inventory modeling, better planning tools, lead times, demands, et cetera.
So Jenny, what is the long-term plan for us? Is we're gonna bring Bluebird to help immediately because they know our processes and our system, but are we planning in the future to go out, let's say for an RFP, to someone to come in and really do a deep dive or look at a long-term solution?
No, so this is that. We're asking them to do that. We're asking them to help us figure out what, is the best, I hate to say best practice because every utility is different, right? It's what's best for us. But come in, do that analysis, and then actually help support, build inventory models, figure out what the best analytic tools are, and actually help us by augmenting the staff until we can build up the staff accordingly to step in and do the work. Part of this is a recommendation of a reorg for inventory planning and what that should look like moving forward.
And we think we can do all this by, I think, March of 2023? That's I guess,
yeah.
Seems aggressive.
Yes.
It is aggressive, and I think we are being aggressive intentionally. Yeah. Just we don't have time to waste when we are dealing with just the changing market every single day. We need some tools to help us better to move from a reactive state to a more proactive state.
It's Joe. Is this one of the areas that KPMG had identified when they did their analysis a few years ago?
Yeah, so inventory planning has we've always been looking at it, trying to figure out kind of best practices. We started with the buying side. So yes, it was kind of initially a part of it. We moved forward with the category management on the buying side and kind of the reorg from that perspective. Right. It could end up being very similar to that, Joe. We have some ideas in place, but we want to see what the consultant says from from their lens, from what they think would work the best for us. But it could end up moving to a category type plan for the planning side as well. We've had multiple studies, KPMG, Deloitte.
Yeah,
over
Deloitte.
The years.
I'm familiar. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions or comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you. May I get a motion to approve award item 5?
Harvey, so moved.
And a second?
Joe Orfano, second.
Joe, go ahead.
We have a motion from Haibu, a second from Joe Orfano. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it back to Jenny to present award item 6.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 6 is a request for proposal This is for JEA Wastewater Capacity Management Operations and Maintenance Program, which we refer to as CMOM. The goal of the assessment will be to identify activities and programs within the CMOM program that are working well and provide recommendations where the utility can reach higher levels of care or documentation, especially as these relate to potential impacts to the St. Johns River. Kimley Horn and Associates, Inc. is our recommended awardee in the amount of $324,923.70. This is expected to be completed in May of 2023. We only received 2 proposals on this one. JEA contacted the companies that did not submit, and they indicated that the CMOM program scope of work was small and very specialized, and so they did not submit. So we still got 2. We went forward and evaluated, and Kimley Horn and Associates was the most qualified to perform the work. Any questions or comments?
So I do have a question because I should know, but apologize. But if Brian Speller or Justin can answer this, the incumbent did not submit the proposal, right? So this is Kimberly Horn is a new consultant that's going to be overseeing our CMOM. Is that correct?
JCAP was they performed our last
JCAP.
CMOM assessment.
Okay.
The presentation, the proposal Kimley Horn put together was a little more thorough and went a little further than what JCAP had put together.
Okay. Thank you, Brian. That answered my question.
Any other questions or comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 6?
Ricky, so moved.
And a second?
Highway second.
We have a motion from Ricky Erickson, a second from Hai Vu. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it over to Jenny to present award item 7.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 7 is a contract increase with a ratification. This is for JEA Tire Maintenance and Repair Services. So the services performed under this scope of work are for the purchase of new tires, preventative maintenance, corrective maintenance, yard checks, and road calls to support JEA operations. It is just a small ratification of about 10 or 11,000. The recommended awardee is our current provider, Davis Tire Centers, Inc., and the amount to increase is $402,111.52. So the pricing structure of this solicitation and then subsequent award is based on the percentage tires or discount on tires that we find either on FSA, GSA, or Sourcewell agreements, whichever is the best. We look at all 3, try to get the best pricing, along with the services provided by the vendor that were competitively bid and fall into the pre-existing like fixed jobs for the preventative, corrective maintenance, et cetera. Established on time material or, all extras not, anticipated at the time of bid. The number of services was merely a projection and was anticipated to fluctuate. So this is why you are seeing this, and it's mainly due just increasingly, largely attributed to our increased service calls and increased tire costs. So the volumes of the requests for field services after hour calls exceeded the original estimated quantities by more than 100 calls annually. In addition, the higher service calls and volumes, the cost of tires increased by 27% over the last 2 years. So we're not adding scope, we're just adding funds to continue the work. And it should be noted that Fleet Services concentrates their focus on increasing the use of retreads rather than replacing with new tires whenever they can. And so they look at that. They look at all the solutions to try to save JEA money at the time. Any questions, comments?
So the ratification of the 10,000 plus is for services rendered that we just didn't have the contract amount for.
Correct. Went over the contract cap before we could get to the awards committee.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions or comments? All right, seeing none, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 7?
Habu, so moved.
And a second?
Mark Stoltz, seconds.
We have a motion from Vu, a second from Mark Stoltz. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, motion is adopted. I'll pass it over to Jenny to present our final award item for today.
Thank you through the chair. This one will be a quick one, very close and identical to the award we already talked about for the joint project. It is with FDOT, and the award amount is $1,861,064.96. We expect the project to be completed May of 2025, and this project will replace a sewer trunk main and the old 20-inch cast iron water main within the right-of-way of DOT at Interstate 95 and Martin Luther King Jr. Parkway interchange. All the same, based off the master agreement, savings in the roadway costs, and this is just an estimate that we will prepay them, which we will then shore up at the end once they bid it out. Questions, comments?
Jenny, it's Joe. I'd just like to point out that Michael and his team work very closely with the city, JTA, and FDOT. They meet quarterly to coordinate these development efforts. So kudos to Michael and his team for being so collaborative with our various other government agencies.
Agree. Michael is a rock star.
Appreciate that.
I won't embarrass him and do what we used to do every time we saw Michael on site. So we all love working with Michael.
He does a great job.
Yes, he does. Thanks for that comment, Joe. Any other questions, comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you. May I get a motion to approve award item 8?
Joe Arfano, so
We have a motion from Ricky Erickson, a second from Joe Arfano. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion is adopted. The entire agenda representing items 1 through 8 is approved for September 15, 2022. Is there any other business to come before the awards committee at this time? All right, hearing none, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye-bye,
Everyone.
everybody.